morning everyone, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction podcast. The only time I seem to have at the moment, which is free, is when I'm driving to work. So excuse all my videos being set in the car at the moment, but such is life. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about burnout now. It was World Mental Health Day recently. And I popped up a little live video there for you on Instagram for you to have a think about how you are treating yourselves during the day. But I wanted to talk about burnout today because it is something that is very prevalent in our society. It's also something that I have suffered from in the past, and I am very wary of at this present moment in time because I am overstretching myself left, right and centre. And this is a very, very common thing that is going on in a lot of people's lives, and actually I would say probably most people at some point in their life will have suffered from burnout or burnout symptoms. And the question is, why is this? Why is it that people are pushing themselves so hard throughout their daily lives that they're getting to a point where they're actually having a nervous breakdown in effect, that they are losing their ability to stay healthy in this moment of busyness? And I think that it's endemic within our society that unfortunately a lot of people feel that the only way that you can be a success in our society is to own a car, own a house, have money in the bank, go on lots of holidays, and it's all kind of very material wealth, but they say that health is wealth. If you haven't got your health, what have you got? And this is something that is often negated when we're thinking about life and business and what it takes to be a success in this day and age, and what that actually looks like to be a success. I run my own business. I'm a lecturer. I work full time. I've got my YouTube channel, I've got my Instagram channel, I've got a social life, I've got a partner, I've got kind of all of these things that are going on. I try to get to the gym, I have to go and do chores and do all the other stuff that kind of comes along with being a human being. And it's like there are only 24 hours in every day, and you're trying to do things like self-care things, like going to yoga and meditating and going to get enough sleep and eating well and cooking your own meals and things. It's like a lot of people feel the overwhelm of actually the expectations of our society, and this is what leads to burnout. It leads to people living on adrenaline, and living on that adrenaline rush all the time, and feeling very kind of unable to keep up with things, unfortunately, because they're not doing things in a healthy fashion. They're not eating in a healthy fashion. They're not they're surviving on adrenaline. They're surviving on a fight or flight reaction, which is okay temporarily, but long term this is something that will make you very sick. You can't survive just on an adrenaline rush. Having cortisol present in the body for long periods of time does damage to your vascular system. You have high blood pressure. Cortisol present in the body causes you to be unable to burn fat, and so we see this with stress, why people put fat on around their middle. It's because you have a high blood sugar response when you have cortisol in the body, and it actually blocks insulin receptors, causing you to be unable to burn fat. And you'll notice that your breathing isn't as good, that your heart rate is up, your blood pressure is high, the list goes on. So yesterday I posted, it would be yesterday my time, I'm not sure when I'm going to post this for you, but yesterday I posted a video looking at your physical state and the effects of that, and looking at how you are residing in your day-to-day state. Are you breathing deeply? Are you breathing? How are you breathing right now? Are you breathing nice deep breaths? I mean, it's odd. I even feel stressed just talking about this subject. It makes me feel stressed thinking about all the things that we need to do in our daily life, because it's that feeling of like, when am I going to get time to do all of those things? But there is time to be a healthy person, and there is time to do things that are good for your health. And there are times to look after yourself. And, when it is busy, you have to make it a priority. There's as somebody is saying that, if you have time, meditate for 20 minutes a day. If you don't have time, meditate for an hour. And that really says what I'm trying to iterate here. You are your health. You are your life. If you don't look after yourself, all the things that you need to get done will not get done. And you need to make sure that you've got time during your day, during your week, that you are doing self-care activities, whatever that looks like for you. For me, my self-care habits are things like having a nice hot bath, focusing on actually getting some really good deep breathing in during the day, noticing my body, because I hold a lot of tension up in my shoulders. I don't breathe enough. I notice that I'm kind of taking some nice deep breaths in regularly. I take herbal tinctures every day. So I have like a rescue remedy by batch, and I also have various other kind of flower remedies and tree remedies, which I find very helpful. I take other herbal supplements like rhodolia rosacea, and things like ashwagandha, and other kind of adaptogenic herbs that are good for stress. In the evening I take melatonin, which helps me to sleep. I focus on doing nice deep diaphragmatic breathing throughout the day. I try to eat mindfully. I watch what I eat during the day, so I make sure that I get up and have something that isn't high carb in the morning, because I find that this increases that kind of insulin reaction that makes you actually feel kind of stressed, because your blood sugars are going up and down. I make sure that I do some form of an activity. I'm a lecturer, so I try to stand and sort of walk around when I'm teaching, as opposed to kind of sitting and teaching. And I think prioritization is really important. There is always going to be something to do, especially as a teacher. We have deadlines coming out of our ears. There's always something to do. There's always a student that needs some help. There's always somebody that wants your time, and it's normally at the end of your day or lunchtime or something, and it's like you can't physically help everyone. We have to understand that at points there's a limit to what we're able to do, and sometimes that means that we have to say no. If you're a parent, you'll probably recognise I'm not a parent. I'm a teacher, but I'm not a parent, and I am invested in my students, but I'd imagine not as heavily invested as what a parent is. But you need to recognise when it's a time to say no. And I know I say this a lot, but putting your own oxygen mask on first is so vital. You can't help anyone else unless you're helping yourself first. I know that when I'm stressed and I'm tired, I'm not as empathetic as I could be. I'm not as good a teacher. I get frustrated quicker. I'm snappier and snippier with my partner and the people who are around me. And that's not just me, that's really common. That is everyone. So making sure that you take time for yourself, and that doesn't mean that you have to take an hour out to do like an hour of meditation in the middle of your day. It doesn't have to be these huge, great, grandiose tasks. Something that I've been focusing on doing is taking a deep breath more often, and just recognizing that the breath is really important, and that I need to breathe more often, and recognizing that, you know, when I'm driving or something, that I can get quite tense when I'm driving. You know, driving is quite a anxiety making, you know, process at some points. You're surrounded by people who are possibly dangerous drivers, people who are doing sort of things that they shouldn't be doing, people who are driving too fast, pedestrians maybe, you know, running out or whatever. You know, these things set off a stress reaction in our bodies exactly the same as if we were faced with a saber-toothed tiger in front of us. And it's, you know, it's this recognition that actually that you can be in control of your autonomic nervous system. You can calm it down, and you must calm it down. You must take control of your body, take control of your thoughts, and take times to self-soothe. You know, we must learn to self-soothe ourselves. That's a mouthful. But, you know, finding time during the day, you know, I try and do things like, you know, when I go to the toilet, you know, I drink a lot of water. Dehydration sets off the autonomic nervous system as well. Drink a lot of water. If you are drinking a lot of water and you're under a lot of stress, make sure that you are salting your food as well, because it's important for cortisol reaction, and for drinking that water you're expending more salt and sodium out of your body. And so, you know, making sure that you've got enough salt in your body. You know, a lot of people are worried about eating salt. If you're eating a good quality salt, like a pink Himalayan rock salt or a Celtic sea salt or something that is straight from that, not this, you know, table salt, sodium chloride, you know, made in a factory crap, don't eat that. It's got nothing in it. It's a chemical. Your body doesn't process it the same way as what it does natural salt. Natural salt, pink Himalayan salt, has got up to 88 different minerals in it, and the body absorbs it in the way that it should, and it's vitally important. If you are going through a lot of stress at the time, you know, have a little pinch of salt in your water. It helps you to control your dehydration levels, helps you to control your blood pressure levels, and it also just, you know, deals well with that stress reaction. So make sure that you are looking after yourself and that you're doing, you know, things that care for you. You know, I mean, I went on a tangent about water there, but when I go to the toilet, I tend to think to myself, right, I'm going to sit down for just a second, I'm going to take some deep breaths when I'm going to the loo, I'm going to have some silence, I'm going to focus on something that's positive. You know, having times in your day where you're thinking about things that you're grateful for, this can actually change the way that your body is working. It's a very powerful thing to do. You know, it just comes down to being self-aware, you know, and being self-aware enough to realise that life is always going to be stressful. You know, your boss will always want more from you, your kids will always want more from you, your partner will always want more from you. You know, if you offer it, it will be taken. You know, when I was moving from Cardiff, I was literally working 15-hour, 18-hour days for a couple of months, and you know, if I'd offered these extra appointments out, people would have taken them. You know, if I'd said to my friends, let's go and do this, I would have been doing those things. You know, there's always somebody and something to do. So it's about being, you know, an excellent gatekeeper and guardian of your time and of your mental health, you know. And as negative as it sounds, that starts with the word no. It starts with you saying no to things. And I'm really bad for this, you know. I'm always like, yes, yeah, I'll do that, yeah, I can help you, yes, you know, just let's go over time. You know, I'm always going over time with my clients. It's a really bad habit, you know, because I'm just thinking, okay, well, it's only 15 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever, but you know, that is me giving my time away for free. You know, I shouldn't be doing that. And really what kind of, that doesn't really teach my clients very good things, because I'm saying that, you know, that they're more important than I am. I'm not really walking the talk. You know, and it's just a bad habit, isn't it? It's a really bad habit, you know. And you have these habits. You have these habits of maybe reaching for crap food instead of good food when you're stressed. You know, binge eating is very common when people are stressed, because eating food and high carb foods make people feel better. They release high blood sugars into the body at the moment. They also help to release serotonin, and so people do get addicted to foods. You know, they get addicted to eating lots of food because it does make them feel better. You know, we do get food highs, but is that, you know, thing that you're about to eat, whatever it is that actually going to help you? You know, a high fiber, kind of low carb diet that's well macro balanced would actually help you a lot more, you know, than eating something that might temporarily make you feel good. So it's about playing the long game. It's about being self-aware and, you know, learning to say no, learning to temper your expectations of yourself, and trying not to get too much on this hamster wheel that everybody kind of gets involved in. You know, we all play this game of kind of keeping up with the Joneses and working really hard and, you know, being busy, because if you're not busy, what the hell are you worth? And it's like, you know, you're worth a lot of things without having to be busy 24/7. So, and if you're not sure about that, and if you feel like that isn't true, then you need to start to work on your self-esteem and realizing that that is true. So there's lots that you can do to make yourself feel better, and to look after yourself in the interim. And, you know, it is about just having the confidence and the ability to say no to things that aren't helpful to you, that, you know, that you really feel like you can't do. You know, even if it's just like, you know, somebody asking you to do an extra hour at work, or, you know, could you just do this for me? It's okay to say no. And if somebody treats you badly because you said no to them, that person is very toxic, and you should remove them from your life if you possibly can. And if not, if you can't remove them from your life, then, you know, consider talking to them about it, the fact that the expectations that they place upon you are above and beyond what is healthy. So today I want you to focus on your breathing. I want you to say no to things that are too much for you. I want you to look after yourself, and I want you to be as happy as you possibly can be today, without putting too much pressure on yourself and without causing too much stress to yourself as well. So good luck. I look forward to speaking to you soon. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Take care of yourselves until I speak to you next, and goodbye.